challenge me.
Oh man, these old school chair shots are hard to watch. Before WWE truly started caring for their performers, they let them get strong as an ox off of steroids and then use that added size and strength to blast their opponents' unprotected skulls with some of the stiffest chair shots you have ever seen. Here are the most brutal chair shots in WWE history, starting with Lita smashes Spike Dudley, WrestleMania 17. Lita was always down to mix it up with the guys, frequently jumping off the top rope and connecting with a Hurricanrana and other high-flying moves. She made her presence known in the TLC match at WrestleMania 17 before being put away by a Dudley Boyz 3D. As Spike Dudley was interfering in the match, Lita had seen enough and brought the thunder with a chair shot that left poor Spike's head merged with the chair.
Leads Lita back in, and Lita just cracked.
The Undertaker mauls Kanyon, SmackDown 2003. During a segment on SmackDown, WWE strangely utilized Kanyon for the first time in months. He was essentially there just for a beating, as he sang to The Undertaker as WWE hoped that would make fans want to see him get beaten down. It worked, and The Undertaker did not disappoint. Several stiff chair shots followed, including a particularly harrowing one to Kanyon's skull at the end. The Undertaker remixes Maven's Brains, Royal Rumble 2002. The Undertaker is always ready to do business, and business called for him to bring attention to Maven in early 2002. After dominating the Royal Rumble match, The Undertaker was surprisingly eliminated by the rookie Maven in a shocking upset. The Undertaker character couldn't let Maven get away with this, so after beating him up a little bit, he nailed him with one of the hardest chair shots in company history. Bradshaw teaches Johnny Grunge a lesson, Sunday Night Heat, 1999.
Just off to our left.
In the now infamous beating that Public Enemy endured at the hands of the Acolytes, there were some brutal moments with chairs and other weapons. Perhaps the hardest part of the match to watch is when Bradshaw takes a chair and repeatedly smashes Johnny Grunge in the head and shoulder with it. Bear in mind, at the time a single chair shot was meant to do serious damage within the storylines.
Here for a little bit of fun. Oh my God! Just off to our left.
The Undertaker combines Kennedy and chair.
Kennedy in a bad way as well.
Survivor Series 2006. With The Undertaker already bloodied and his adrenaline firing in front of the live crowd, Mr. Kennedy was in a bad position at this particular Survivor Series. With the dead man arguably at his athletic peak, he rained down a chair shot so hard that poor Kennedy's head became lodged between the seat and the backrest. It wasn't planned, but it made for an amazing visual that really solidified the beating that Kennedy was meant to be taking. The Rock annihilates Ken Shamrock, Raw 1998. Most wrestlers take chair shots to the top of their head. Not old school UFC badass Ken Shamrock though. On his knees like he was going to be knighted by the Queen, Shamrock called on The Rock like he genuinely expected the chair to give in to his chiseled facial features. You can even briefly see Shamrock drive his head forward and headbutt the chair. He may have lost that exchange, but even against inanimate objects, the Lion's Den captain always put up a fight. Welcome to the WWE, Brock. Raw 2002. A few weeks after debuting on TV, Brock Lesnar was involved in a short but memorable feud with both Matt and Jeff of the Hardy Boys. Brock had gotten the better of each of them in a series of attacks, but this time Team Extreme brought the artillery and smacked Brock on the head several times. It took a few shots to get Brock out of the ring, but the future beast incarnate never left his feet. Even with a head and neck like Brock's, these are hard to watch. Brock Lesnar dismantles Zach Gowen, SmackDown 2003.
Zach Gowen
The 300-pound with no body fat super athlete and future UFC heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar needed massive men like The Undertaker and The Big Show, or legitimate athletes like Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, to seem like they could actually compete with him. But what about a man with no muscle at all? What about a man with no muscle and only one leg? Sounds like a feud for the ages. Brock beat the tar out of Zach Gowen, and the brutal chair shots were only one part of it. But I mean, how else was this ever going to go? Sabu throws a chair through Rey Mysterio. ECW One Night Stand 2006. It was rare, if ever, that a chair had been thrown on WWE television to this point. You would have assumed that someone slamming the chair down would produce more force, so why turn it into a projectile? Sabu challenged this conventional thinking and damn near put the chair through poor Rey Mysterio. In a match full of dangerous high spots, this could be the most cringeworthy of all. Stevie Richards says thanks to JBL, SmackDown 2005.
E osserva compiaciuto l'inferno.
JBL has a long history as a backstage bully in the WWE. This characteristic was in full effect at the One Night Stand event when he bludgeoned the Blue Meanie's face with real-life punches. The Meanie's buddy Stevie Richards took it upon himself to exact some revenge, landing one of the loudest chair shots of the 2000s straight to JBL's skull on an episode of SmackDown. Both parties have since come forward and said that this spot was planned, but planned or not, it's still a sickening thud. JBL drills and drains Eddie Guerrero, Judgment Day 2004. This one is still tough to watch. Not only did JBL connect with one of the stiffest chair shots in WWE history, but Eddie sold it by blading or cutting himself, but accidentally went a bit too deep. Eddie was covered head to toe in his own plasma, and it would have looked ridiculous if it wasn't for the intense chair shot that preceded it. The Undertaker puts down HBK, Bad Blood, 1997. Tough day at the office for the Heartbreak Kid, tasked with introducing the menacing Hell in a Cell match, as well as being there for the debuting Kane character. Shawn also had to bounce around the entire arena selling The Undertaker's offense. Falling off the side of the cell should have been the hardest spot of the night, but when The Undertaker put Shawn down with a stiff chair shot near the end of the match, the fall off the side of the cell seemed like easy money. Chris Benoit dives into Chris Jericho's attack, Royal Rumble 2001.
Oh my God, the suplex!
One of the many amazing matches we're not allowed to remember anymore, Jericho and Benoit put on a ladder match for the ages on this stacked card. There were tons of ladder-oriented high spots in the match, but perhaps the most memorable spot is when Benoit sprinted and dove through the ropes right into a stiff chair shot from Jericho. The sickening thud from Jericho's swing meeting Benoit's speed stands out as a memorable moment in a night of memorable moments. The Undertaker remodels furniture, Unforgiven 2002. Brock Lesnar has a large, thick skull that rests upon a large, thick neck and large, thick shoulders. And just as well, because if not for that, The Undertaker may have compressed his entire spine into one mangled vertebrae. The two chair shots are so hard that the first one literally dents the chair in a way we haven't seen on WWE TV for close to 20 years. Concussion protocols will likely never allow a chair shot like that again, and fair enough, just look at the chair. The Rock slaughters Mankind, Royal Rumble 1999. Oh no. Possibly the most brutal chair on skull violence we have ever seen in WWE to date. Any one of the multiple chair shots that The Rock lands during this match could have made the list. Any one of them. But instead, we the fans were treated to a downright torture session straight out of a Saw movie. Mankind proved that he was tough as nails for the millionth time in his career, but the fans watching proved that they were tough too. Try watching this one without looking away.